get my house ready with me so CPS can come over.
Here's my butt.
We have to change your butt because you got stanky in there. Oh. Now that we have taken care of his butt, here's what the living room situation is. I know I have not carpet cleaned yet, but that I am definitely gonna have to pull this guy out today. The table, I don't know why it turns into a catch-all, but it does. Dogs. The kitchen, I definitely do need to get some dishes done and then declutter this. I don't know why, but this gets cluttered up with just random, just the most random stuff ever.
My issue with y'all in these nasty ass houses comes down to the kids and how they feel about you posting it all over the internet for everyone to see. That's my issue. To have your child go under your bed and push out trash is just disgusting. To even allow your child to go under there and do that is weird. Then to come on here giddy about CPS showing up, you can't tell me that teachers don't see this, their friends don't see this, your relatives. What are y'all doing? I get that is a very old rundown house. I get that and I give an excuse for that. But the issue comes, you've been on this app for like 3-4 years now, living the exact same way. Nothing has improved, nothing.
Why do you honestly think I live in this most filthy, trashed house in the whole world? Like, CPS is not gonna come fuck with me. They want real cases, man. My house is messy, yes. And I got crumbs on my floor, yes. But I vacuum every day. But what TikTok doesn't show you is when I actually get it done. I am fucking over this, man. Leave me alone. If you don't fucking like it, keep scrolling. Leave me alone.
Today we are diving into a situation that has people on TikTok completely baffled. Amanda MCG, a mother of 4, who has built an entire platform around the chaos and mess in her home. Now, let's be real. Keeping a house spotless, especially with kids, is no easy task. But Amanda's situation, it's on a whole other level. For over 5 years, Amanda has been sharing videos of her extremely messy home, documenting the process of cleaning it up, and while at first many saw it as relatable mom life struggle, others became deeply concerned, especially for her children, who were living in that environment. The conversation took a major turn when Amanda recently posted what she called good news, only for it to be about Child Protective Services, CPS, visiting her home. She was oddly cheerful about it, telling her audience that she was going to clean up so CPS could find her home presentable.
House ready with me so CPS can come over.
That's where people started asking the real questions. If CPS is visiting regularly, what does that say about the actual conditions her kids are living in? And why was she treating it like just another chore to check off the list rather than a wake-up call? Now, Amanda has always defended herself, saying she struggles with mental health and is working on it. And let's be clear, mental health challenges are real and they can absolutely impact a person's ability to keep up with their home. But after 5 years of documenting the same cycle, an overwhelming mess, a deep clean, and then back to square one, people are starting to wonder, is this really about struggling? Or is she maintaining the chores on purpose for content? The post that truly set people off was a Get My House Ready With Me video, where Amanda openly admitted she was preparing for a CPS visit. She gave a quick walkthrough of her home, showcasing piles of laundry, overwhelming trash bins, unwashed dishes, and cluttered floors before diving into a frenetic cleaning spree. What really made people pause, though, wasn't just the state of the house. It was the way Amanda presented it. She spoke with an air of nonchalance, saying she wasn't worried about CPS because, in her words, she was a good mom. She rattled off a checklist of what she believed qualified her as such. Her kids had a roof over their heads, food in the fridge, clean clothes, and warm in the winter.
Get my house ready with me so CPS can come over.
Here's my butt.
We have to change your butt because you got stanky in there. Oh. Now that we have taken care of his butt, here's what the living room situation is. I know I have not carpet cleaned yet, but that I am definitely going to have to pull this guy out today. The table, I don't know why it turns into a catch-all, but it does. Dogs. The kitchen, I definitely do need to get some dishes done and then declutter this. I don't know why, but this gets cluttered up with just random, just the most random stuff ever. Gotta vacuum the hallway, clean up the bathrooms, that's just laundry. And then this is my husband's room where he sleeps. I get it, the carpets are disgusting. This is my boys' room. I'm gonna vacuum, clearly. Vacuum that. I think that's styrofoam. My oldest is autistic and he has Pica. So that's what.
But those are absolute bare minimums of parenting. A clean, safe, and livable home is just as crucial to the child's well-being. The reaction was intense. Her comment section filled with people who had grown up in similarly unkept homes, sharing their experiences of long-term embarrassment, resentment toward their parents, and even the mental health struggles stemming from their childhood environment. Many described the lasting shame of never inviting friends over, fearing judgment, and dealing with the emotional toll of living in filth. For Amada's children, the situation is even more complicated. This isn't just their private reality. It's being documented and shared online for the world to see. Their classmates, their teachers, and even potential future employers have access to this digital record of their home life. It's not just a moment of struggle. It's a public spectacle. And at that level of exposure, especially when it involves a messy and unhealthy home, could have lasting consequences on their self-esteem and social development. Amada's content thrives on this messy clean cycle. She's built an audience of people being shocked by the state of her home and then getting that dopamine hit of watching her clean it up. It's a formula, shock value, and redemption arc, and a feel-good ending, all wrapped up in a short-term video. But if she actually maintained a consistently clean home, what would happen to her content? Would she even have anything to post? Would her audience still be engaged without the spectacle of chaos turning into order? This is where the skepticism sets in. Is Amanda genuinely struggling with keeping up with household chores, or has she turned this into a calculated business model? Because let's be honest, social media has allowed people to monetize just about anything. And when engagement starts to dip, some creators find new ways to stir up attention. We've seen this pattern before. Think about Nurse Hannah, who went viral for having 17 dietary diapers scattered across her home. The sheer shock of it all got her media coverage, interviews, and an explosion of new followers. It's the controversy that fueled the engagement and ultimately the payout. Now, with Amanda, it's the same cycle. Does she truly want a cleaner home? Or does she need the mess to maintain her content?
Don't mind the devil horns here. To all of you that say, oh, she just got a lot of junk. Yes, there's ice cream there. Shut up. Look at all that meat. Look at all that meat. And let's be looking at our fridge. Here's the fridge update. I need to throw that away and get rid of that because I think it's old. But other than that, we have been doing so fucking good. We are starting off strong today with laundry. I had to wash my sheets. Somebody threw up on them this morning. Did you throw up?
Yeah.
And stick around because I'm...
Her audience has grown accustomed to the dramatic before and after transformation, and if she were to keep her home consistently tidy, the element of suspense of waiting for the next major cleanup would disappear. That's the paradox of building a brand around struggle. Overcoming it may mean losing the very thing that brings in the views. It's worth questioning whether Amanda is in a cycle that she simply can't escape, or if she has built a financial incentive around maintaining this scale. The allure of viral content, sponsorship deals, and engagement metrics can make it tempting to continue feeding into the narrative rather than genuinely solving the issue. When influencers start monetizing their struggles, the line between authenticity and performance begins to blur. The question then becomes, is Amanda unintentionally keeping her home in disarray for clicks? Or is she genuinely trying to improve but failing to break the cycle? Moreover, content like this perpetuates a social media trend where messiness is glorified for engagement rather than addressed as a legitimate issue. There's a difference between occasional household clutter and an environment that poses risks to children's well-being. It raises an ethical dilemma. Should audiences continue to engage with this type of content, knowing it may be incentivizing the behavior? And more importantly, should platforms step in when the safety and welfare of children are at stake? If Amanda were to truly clean up her act and maintain a livable space, would her audience still stick around, or has she trained them to expect chaos, making it difficult to transition into content that does not rely on shock value?
About people in their nasty houses, I usually stay out of that conversation because sometimes I feel like y'all do overly judge people because poverty does not equate to filthiness. Very important. However, I see this lady come up in my FYP all the time, and not necessarily her, but the think pieces y'all make about her. And I've never really, like I said, I don't really pay too much mind to it. I don't like the whole niche of nasty houses. I think it's weird. But I ain't gonna lie, that piqued my interest. Look, I did go to look, and this is what I found that low-key blew the fuck out of me. That's her child under the bed pushing all of that out. Like, what?
You guys are probably gonna have to come back for the next video to see the finished results. We finish the room. I'm gonna do this and then and finish up in the back. Any excuse. This is absolutely horrible.
It is.
And I hate that I have come to this again.
For the last 4 or
I've been
5
dealing
years,
with
please
this
make it
battle
make
for
sense.
4 or 5 years now.
Told you.
Probably my whole life. I never was taught to clean very well.
2023, 2022. My issue with y'all in these nasty ass houses comes down to the kids and how they feel about you posting it all over the internet for everyone to see. That's my issue. To have your child go under your bed and push out trash is disgusting. To even allow your child to go under there and do that is weird. Then to come on here giddy about CPS showing up, you can't tell me that teachers don't see this, their friends don't see this, your relatives. What are y'all doing? I get that is a very old, rundown house. I get that, and I give an excuse for that. But the issue comes, you've been on this app for like 3-4 years now, living the exact same way. Nothing has improved. Nothing has changed. I'm sorry. That's not normal. That's not okay. And y'all normalizing it is so weird.
That's the dilemma she now faces. The cycle she has built may be profitable, but at what cost? One of the most alarming revelations was when Amanda casually mentioned that her eldest child has autism and Pica, an eating disorder where individuals compulsively eat non-food items.
I understand the fridge looks the way it is, hence why I'm gonna gut everything out and clean it really good. Not that there is any excuse for it, but I did have Kool-Aid that had a little spout that did leak at the bottom, so that's where all that red stuff comes from, but that's not the only mess there is. So I know it's bad, and hence why I'm cleaning it. Tomato paste for my chili that I'm making. Fruit snacks for the kids. There's all the fruit in this bag. Cilantro. Pineapple, because I let the last one die. Oh, chocolate chips because I make my own pancakes. Cabbage, bell peppers, grapes, strawberries. More mayonnaise because we love mayonnaise. Strawberries, bread, garlic. Big old jar of jalapenos because me and my husband love them, and we're gonna add them to the baby shower. Blueberry waffles because kids like these.
Now, let's take a moment to really process what that means. A child with Pica, living in a home that is perpetually littered with trash, debris and miscellaneous objects, that isn't just concerning, it's downright dangerous. Think about the number of small hazardous items that could easily be ingested. Pieces of plastic, scraps of food that have gone bad, even chemical-laden objects. Anything could be a potential risk. How many times has this child unknowingly put something harmful in their mouth? How many close calls has Amanda had to navigate? The real question is, does she even realize the severity of this risk, or has she become desensitized to the chaos in her home? What's even more troubling is that Amanda didn't present this as a major concern. Instead, she mentioned it as if it were another detail in her already chaotic life, brushing past it as though it wasn't a huge red flag. But for anyone familiar with Pica, the dangers are very real and require constant vigilance. A child with this condition needs a controlled environment, one that minimizes exposure to potential hazards. Yet Amanda's home, as she continuously portrays it, is anything but controlled. It begs the question, how much harm has already been done? How many times has this child suffered in silence because their mother is too caught up in the content cycle to make a real change? And if CPS is already visiting, are they fully aware of the additional risks involved due to this disorder? This isn't just about a messy home anymore. It's about a direct and ongoing threat to a vulnerable child's safety. Amanda proudly announced that CPS didn't find anything concerning enough to take her children away. According to her, they didn't find the dust, the dirty carpets, or even the grimy bathroom. They just wanted to see that she was making progress, and because they came by appointment, she had time to prepare. Now I know what you're gonna ask. Am I worried? No, not at all. I am a good mom. I take care of my kids. They have heat. They have a roof over their head. They have lots of food. They have beds to sleep in. They have clean clothes. I mean, I am not worried at all. And I am going to show this lady the progress that I have been making because it is astronomical. To go back and look at some of the videos and look at what it looks like now. Like this living room has been clean for months now, and we just keep up on it. And I'm so finally glad that my mind just was like, oh, there you go, girl. This is what you need. And yes, I still struggle, but I'm not worried.
So come along on this journey with me because I'm bringing you guys along. I am here to hide nothing. I almost thought about not saying anything and dealing with this privately, but no, it's because of the haters on TikTok why I'm in this situation. And I am going to let this lady be fully aware, who has probably no idea that I am almost to 500,000 followers on a social media app, that these are strangers, people who do not know me personally, that are calling in to make, reports of my house being messy. Yes, it was messy. Yes, I am fixing it. There's nothing they can do about that. They will not take my kids. So follow along because I will have cleaning videos on this journey and we will see the end progress.
But what happens when CPS does an unannounced visit? This raises a bigger issue. How much of Amanda's content is performative? If she had to rush to clean before their visit, what does that say about the actual conditions her children live in day to day? If CPS were to knock on her door unexpectedly, would they be met with the same cleaned up version of her home? Or would they see the reality her followers have become familiar with? The fact that she had to prepare in advance suggests that without that notice, the home may not meet the minimum standards for a safe living environment. Another concerning aspect is how Amanda framed this entire situation. Instead of taking it as a wake-up call, she treated it as another milestone to share with her followers, almost as if CPS visiting was a badge of honor. She downplayed the severity of the situation, focusing more on how she beat the system rather than addressing the root of concerns people had. And when the visit was over, instead of reflecting on what changes she needed to make, she turned to social media to mock those who reported her, calling them haters and dismissing their concerns entirely. She even taunted her critics afterwards, saying they tried to cancel her and failed. But this isn't about cancel culture. It's about genuine concern for children who are growing up in an environment that has repeatedly raised red flags. If multiple people have felt strongly enough to report her situation, shouldn't that be an indication that there is a deeper issue at play? At what point does this stop being a case of internet drama and become a serious matter of child welfare? Back in 2020, Amanda was completely dismissive of the idea that CPS would ever intervene. She would clap back at people saying CPS doesn't care about messy houses and that she vacuumed every day. She told her followers that if they didn't like her content, they could just scroll past. She exuded confidence in her belief that her home, no matter how unkept, would never be seen as a real concern by authorities. Fast forward to CPS is involved. She's on camera actively preparing for their visit, deep cleaning her home before officials arrive, and showing visible signs of worry. The stark contrast between her past attitude and her current reality has raised many questions. So what changed? Did her situation finally deteriorate to a level that warranted a report? Or has it always been a problem? But now enough people have taken notice and spoken out. Was it her growing audience that brought more scrutiny, or did something shift in her home that made intervention inevitable? Even more telling is her reaction. Rather than recognizing that as a moment of self-reflection, she has seemingly turned into another part of her content cycle. But if CPS's involvement doesn't serve as a wake-up call, at the core of this, Amanda continues to say she's not making excuses, but then immediately makes excuses. One moment she's saying she's overwhelmed and doing her best, the next she's filming her daughter crawling under her bed to pull out piles of trash, an image that speaks volumes about her approach to cleaning. Instead of addressing the issue proactively, she seems to wait until the situation is unbearable before acting, which begs the question, is this a pattern of neglect or simply a cycle she doesn't know how to break? When people called her out for involving her daughter in such an unsanitary task, Amanda was quick to defend herself, saying, "My daughter was fine with it." But is that really the standard we should accept? Shouldn't a mother's instinct be to shield her child from that kind of responsibility, rather than normalize it as part of their routine? A child shouldn't have to wade through filth just because their parent has grown accustomed to the chore. More importantly, how does this impact a child's sense of normalcy? Growing up in such conditions could desensitize them to unhealthy environments, making it difficult for them to establish proper self-care habits as they grow older. At some point, trying isn't enough. 5 years is a long time to keep saying, "I am working on it." If someone is truly struggling to maintain a clean home, they seek out real solutions, hiring a cleaning crew, reaching out for help from family or friends, or even implementing structured cleaning habits. But when the mess is not only allowed to persist but also becomes a documented and monetized part of social media content, it blurs the line between genuine struggle and calculated engagement. If the mess keeps bringing in views, is there really motivation to change? Additionally, the psychology of habit formation suggests that repeated exposure to the same patterns, such as cycles of extreme messiness followed by urgent cleanups, can reinforce a mindset that only acts when things spiral out of control. This is a dangerous precedent, not only for Amanda but also for her children, who are learning by example. A healthy living space is essential for physical and mental well-being, and if a parent struggles to provide that, it raises the question, at what point does this become a form of neglect rather than an ongoing challenge? Social media has changed the way people seek attention and make money. What used to be personal struggles have now turned into content opportunities. And while some influencers use their platforms to genuinely help and inspire, others seem to lean into the chaos because it keeps the views coming in. Let me know what you think about this situation. Should CPS be doing more? Should Amanda take accountability in bigger ways? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Like and subscribe to stay updated on more content like this. See you in the next video.